Yeah, right.
Kim kept one the other day, she got a 5 point. How often do you tell them?
Yeah, you do. Only when she brings it away.
Wasn't it a springtime?
Ready? Call this meeting to order, please.
Karen,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Charlie,
Here.
Joe,
Yeah, Scott.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please talk quietly amongst yourselves and sign vouchers.
What do you guys want to talk about?
They said, right, they said.
I don't get any more than.
boys. We're gonna-
Quiet, please. Anybody like the privilege of the floor? Move on to department reports, highway.
That was cool. Since we were here last, we got the new plow and the pickup. So we talked last month, when that happens, I'd like to get rid of that board, the back board. So at this point, I think you guys got the resolution. So that's gonna, I'm gonna contact them probably after the holidays.
Gotcha.
Yeah, been out plowing once. First, we had that snow, we had to run. If you had a truck go down, stand out of the barn. Has since been fixed, so all 5 trucks are up and running. I have invoiced Fairhaven for their 2/3 payment of the plow, which we've been paid for this plow season. They just sent a check, so we're good there. We are waiting on the county for the base pay. I contacted them. They did a little scramble, they got back to me and they said, yeah, that was an oversight on their part. We should see it in a week to 10 days.
Did they do this to everybody or?
No, that's, I mean, because I'm hearing other superintendents saying, yeah, we got paid, and I'm like, hey, where's our money?
Sterling's down towards the bottom of the list. Alphabetically, they're out of money.
You can stay there if you want to come up here and follow the road.
Tough.
But no, I was assured that it was
Okay.
a snafu between Uptown and Highway Department, so anyways, I'm sure that's on its way. We had a piece of bridge cap roll off the salt shed. So we rented a lift. Eric Otis from the village, he was a ripper for 15 years, he offered to get up there. And, that's fixed and. Other than that, we're pretty much in waiting game for the weather.
Did, Juniper Hill Road get? Or Christopher Drive, is that resolved or?
I want to contact the attorney and find out when the 7 days is up.
Okay.
But nothing, as of this morning, nothing hasn't changed.
They're getting close.
Huh?
Anyway. Okay, historian?
Pretty quiet. Jeff Sherman wanted information about the Orley Stevens property. Mike Sherwitz was looking for Markville Methodist Church records. Kathy Conti was back again. She's related to 3/4 of Sterling. And she wanted information on William Titus, William Smith Ingham, and Adar Perry, especially dealing with the Underground Railroad. And I finally found where those documents might be, and that's at RIT Archives. So if we put in an order, and maybe we'll see more about how Sterling was connected to Underground Railroad information, hopefully. And Charlie Getson, Susan Gately, and myself are now putting together a book on the history of the RG property and nature center. So we hope with some funding from here and there, that should be out either by that eclipse day in early April or the dedication of the nature center. I hope, we hope.
That'd be cool.
We're working hard at it. That's it.
That's okay. Thank the justices. That's not. Planning board, yay. Well, let's go. Historical Society, is that now?
No, it's
We're still.
no, it'll probably always be me, but we will be leaving it. Our calendars are here. We have ornaments here now. They're also in the front porch. The Savannah Bank has only calendars. We have one more meeting at the end of November. And then the historical society will be done for the year. And then I will be retired on the 31st. And then Lee starts again in April.
So give you a little rest before you have to start doing it for leave, right?
Yeah.
Code enforcement?
We have two new houses that broke ground in the last couple weeks. One's a double wide over on, Ontario Shores Acre, whatever the name of the road is, and the other one is a seasonal home off of Ontario Shores Drive. So we're pretty close in vicinity. Also, a large addition started this week over on West Side Drive, which would take some time, but, the big thing for this year is we've made a lot of progress in closing out old files. And I can't reiterate that enough because the files that have still been open date back to the 90s. And we've cleared out over 100 files this year. And so we've made progress in cleaning up some of these old files. The only other thing to report, what was on my report, is just, currently with the LUR and the fee structure, when somebody wants to put a pole barn or a shed even, as a primary structure on a vacant lot, I currently don't have the authority to do so, and they must seek planning board approval. With that said, it's a $200 fee to get the planning board. Currently, you know, if someone wants to put a shed and they spend $2,000 or $5,000, technically a shed is a utility structure, the primary use, they still need for the LUR planning board approval, because it's a storage building, which could represent up to 10% of the cost of the structure. So that's something I just think the board should consider, either reducing the fee or in the long term, changing the LUR to allow the CEO discretion as well. I know the argument in the past had to do with what the structure is being used for, but they get an occupancy for a structure, whether it's a utility structure, commercial or residential. So outside of that would be a conflict as well. That would be fall under our office anyway, but it's something for the board to consider in the future.
Okay. That it?
Yeah, it's all.
All right, thank you. County Water Sewer Authority, Jay's not here. I'm still waiting for their attorney to get the wording done for the other. I think the best move might be just kind of like we did with Water District 2 and Water District 3, just change the wording ourselves, send it to them and say, is this okay? Just to get it done, so we got it, instead of waiting for the attorney. Committees, youths. Fire ambulance. On that subject, kind of, at the county supervisors meeting the other night, they had a gentleman speak that had been very involved with the ambulance service in Auburn. And AMR is pulling out of Cuba County. So it's gonna leave a big void in the ambulance service, especially for the Auburn area. He was seeking a letter from the different towns in the county wanting to establish a ambulance district for the county, a countywide ambulance district. They would, his thought is they would have 2 ambulances manned 24/7, 365. His thought would be those ambulances would be manned in Palmer. My concern, some of the other supervisors in the north end of the county and the south end of the county are like, so. My thing was how many times has AMR ever been to the village of Fairhaven or the town of Sterling?
Right.
So well, they were up there once for a generator that Mike Wiggins says, no, that was Victory. So, I mean, I understand their plight, but I think we're more generally geared where our ambulance is either going to Oswego primarily, not Auburn.
Right.
So I don't know if that's something that's gonna come down the pike. He said we got something drafted, he was gonna send it out to all the supervisors and try to, this is something that has to go to the state, they would designate it as a district. But there's a lot of, you know, workings in there, I think that, just some of the numbers, you know. It's not profitable for an ambulance service because the city ambulance takes all the transfers. So if you're in Auburn Hospital, and you have to go to St. Joe's or you have to go to Buffalo, that pays big money. If you're, you know, call the ambulance, he said 85%, which the numbers astounded me, 85% of the citizens in the city of Auburn are on Medicaid or Medicare. Which Medicaid, Medicare dictate what the ambulance service gets paid. He says if we administer one drug, we're already working at a negative loss. So that's what they've been doing, that's why they pulled out. So I think the problem's a lot bigger. The next morning they showed on the news where this is something that's common all across the whole country, so but it's something that's coming down the pipe that, if they get that letter, I'll, you know, we'll present it to the board, and I just want to give everybody time to think about it, research it if you want to or something.
Would that be in lieu of our current ambulance?
No, because you'd
It'd
still,
be in addition to? Hmm.
the way I understood it, because the village has still got an ambulance service, all these other, this would be like more like a supplemental. If we get supplemental ambulance service from around here, it usually comes from Mentor,
Right,
or it comes from Osceola County, or like Simbac, that's voluntary ones.
right.
But I don't, I mean, it's been years since I've been in the fire department, but I don't ever know of a time when they've brought ambulance out of Auburn. But if they put one north end of the county, and at the south end of the county,
There's something like Conquest,
yeah,
and then.
Yeah.
Further along.
and you're looking at a 40-minute ride for an ambulance to get here from Auburn. If they were ready to go, yeah.
Right.
If the weather's good.
Right.
Water district, we kind of discussed that with Bill. I sent another email to Ian today, put a phone call into Ian today with no response. Maybe this bill will get some attention so we can even again. Oh, Frank, I'm sorry. It's most important. I'm saving the best for last.
I've been overlooked before, you know.
Yeah. Senior citizens.
Okay, hey, good evening, all right, here, we had our last meeting on November 16th, our last regular meeting. And now we're getting ready for our Christmas party, which will be December 7th at the Hannibal American Legion. So far, that was got between 65 and 70 on that list, I think.
Nice.
And, okay, and then Buffalo, we discontinued that for now through the holidays. Because we're on Wednesdays, and then we're gonna start back again on January 3rd. That'll be just a regular Buffalo, and then on the second and, that'd be the second and fourth Wednesdays, we'll have a dish of bath type thing, we'll start at noon over there. Just gives them a little something more to do this winter. And, let's see. Oh yeah, on December 5th, the Hannibal Village, it was the village market when I was there. The Hannibal Taps Market is doing a senior dinner, it's a free lunch. And all the folks I've already, the seniors, our seniors already know this, and, this has been something that's been going on for quite a few years. Fran started it, Fran Marvito started it way back. I was there in 90 and it was going on then and right on through. And so then when Tops took over, they continued the program. And what it is, the folks just go in, they go back to the deli department and they have the lunches all basket. Good deal. And let's see, they have a little problem with the Meals on Wheels with the Office for the Aging. And the company that's been doing it for the last 10 years has stopped doing it. And so Brenda Wyman, the director of the Office for the Aging, she's been running right around trying to get, he said, no, I talked to her last Thursday and things are starting to come together on it. So it should be a good continuation after the first of the year for the folks. That's quite a program that they have. I'm kind of serious here tonight, you know? Jeez. But anyway, so, the Uncle did that and see, also, oh yeah, that, had an indirect meeting with Onondaga Coach, the bus company. And they're looking at maybe a 5% increase on their cost of buses for next year. I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet myself, I would, and see if I, can do a little bit on that. So, and that's about it, and I feel free to interrupt anytime in the rest of the meeting. And again, I wanna thank the board for what they do for our seniors, okay?
And we'd like to thank you.
Absolutely, right.
I just had a good time.
So are the seniors, because of you, that is good.
Thank you.
Zoning commission?
We're still meeting, at least once a month. We met recently and two ZBA members attended as well. We put the word out to them and because a couple of the items that had been on the list that had been put together from May 2021 by Lisa Summers were initiated by the ZBA. So we invited them and ended up that Brad Dates and Carolyn Waterman came to the meeting. So it was a good opportunity to just have some communication about what the zoning commission's been working on, and then I shared with them what I had shared with this board several months ago, where we did an update on what we had accomplished with the help of the planning board, town board, and made some changes to the land use regulations based on suggestions by multiple sources. But we're still meeting.
Okay. I'm to work, there's nothing. Department oversight. Done. Yeah. Thank you. Employee handbooks. Personnel, Charlie and I met with a couple gentlemen, which we'll discuss later, discuss now, discuss later.
We got it on there.
Yeah. Okay, I get a motion to accept the minutes from the October 23rd, 2023 regular meeting.
I'll make that one.
Oh, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. I get a motion to accept the October 2023 supervisors report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Correspondence. The CBRS 5-year review boundaries for the over swingers. Okay,
Is that something that we've ever
I
acknowledged, participated in?
think my reading of it, Joan, and I don't know, maybe you know more of this, I thought it was more like just if you had concerns or comments, you can make them.
Right. Have you looked at the maps? I was talking about to review the CBRS maps at least once every 5 years, make minor and technical modifications necessary to reflect changes in the size of location. I'd be clueless, hard pressed to know what this,
That's kind of how I felt.
right.
Yeah. Leave that for the next supervisor.
Okay.
Be good with maps.
Figure it out.
Old business. Still waiting for the Cuba County water agreement. Dog control, we talked about that briefly. So were you gonna try to reach back out to that lady?
Well, I did twice, and she hasn't got back to me, what we're trying to find out is, apparently she's in an agreement, and it sounds like it's relatively new, with Jordan Elbridge. And the dogs, she could shelter a dog temporarily, but if it had to be long-term, apparently there's a shelter in Onondaga County, and that's where I said, oh, we're outside of Onondaga County, could we have that relationship? And she hasn't gotten back to me on that. So, really,
This is we're not the only ones feeling this pain.
no, and on the news the other day, I was hearing about the dog shelters are at capacity, with trying to get people to adopt dogs.
So this is something our new county legislator could continue with the county with working on. getting a countywide dog control system.
I'll second that.
Uh, I've contacted Kevin Cox and Jim Basile. Jim had asked his attorney, Norm, I believe his name is, to go. And Kevin are working on an agreement for the water district. Requested we had it for today, but I did not get it by today. We gotta get the connection fees for the West Bay. We had 2 planning board members that Charlie and I met with Monday night last week. Real good gentleman, Jeff Sawyer and Kat Engelman.
Yes, I don't know you, but I thought they both
Yeah.
interviewed very well.
I'm glad we had 2 positions, because I think they're both, very good gentlemen. You should have their letters of intent in there. They're both
They have their
very knowledgeable.
with the town and
Yep.
a lot of roots, and they have a lot of the same, I think, concerns that we have.
Yeah,
You know, it's not just the board, but it's the people of the town. That's what impressed me most about them. I think they will listen to the people of the town, not each way that you get.
Yeah. I don't think they have, they're not getting on it because they have an agenda.
Feel any of that at all.
New business, lighting in Sterling Valley. Special district should be formed if expanded.
Yeah, I asked to put that on the agenda because at last month's meeting, I mentioned about the,
Horse and
potential
buggies,
incident with the horse and buggy with the Amish people moving into the area. And so I paid attention to what we have in the Sterling Valley. There are 2 lights. And the one light is not on the utility pole that's directly over where the U-turn would be going from 104A heading.
Refresh my memory where they're at.
So the one is in John Simmons' backyard there, so to speak,
Okay.
on 104A,
Yeah,
overlooking that. Instead of on the utilities pole, that actually is at the intersection in front of where Hoppy's used to be, Decker's house. And apparently that pole doesn't have power to it. My assumption is that RG&E deals with this, but that's an assumption, I have no idea. And there is another light, Kurt, but it's across the bridge. Yeah, but it's probably about 1/10, if that, of one of those lights.
Were they redone with the LED when they?
I'm not, it looks like it's been redone with an LED, but something's not right with it. I was there this morning at about 5:30, so it's still pretty dark out. And, something's not right with that light.
Right,
I think, cause we had talked, and I wasn't even aware that it was there, that's how.
right,
You know,
it's so
but there is,
not-
the one on the other side shines pretty bright. By John's house.
right,
But the one there is, it's like a candle in the wind, so
right.
maybe RG should be contacted, put involved, maybe it shouldn't be the photo eye, it should be the bulb, something's not quite right with that.
And they own those lights, right? They made it build around there.
I don't know a lot about the history of it.
I believe it is an LED because it's real.
We own it.
Well. The town of Sterling pays for that light, yes. As a matter of fact, I got a call going in for our meeting tomorrow, because I noticed the light out here that shines on the town hall is out. That we pay for.
So I
So we
think,
pay them for the light and they,
It's like a lighting district, but it's not lighting district. Because it's,
we're paying for a dark district.
well, it was in the 90s, when I started. They never created a lighting district because it was like one light
for this
2
one.
years. No, for the one down in the valley. Excuse me?
There's only one light down there for a long time.
I wonder if John Simmons put that other light in.
That might be his, who knows? The one on the
But
corner.
I'll
That
call
one's working, so leave it alone.
Yeah.
Is that,
It's not broke, don't fix it. But the one,
although it is
the one
not.
on the north side of the bridge is the one that's, something's not quite right with it. It was on.
Right.
But
Does that look like that's one of their lights, or is that something?
It's an RGB light.
Kyle-
I mean, that's. There is a difference between the two lights.
Mhm.
That's why I'm thinking that maybe the one by John's house,
John put up there.
Lisa, can
he
you,
might have.
Yeah,
will you call our?
Maybe not.
I'm gonna tell them about that light.
Yeah,
Well,
tell
no,
them
but
about
can
Then,
you get?
then it didn't get upgraded because there are different lights.
Yeah, I don't know who put that.
It's just what's on the bill.
It's just what,
Yeah,
We got the
it's on
RG.
Yes. but they don't,
It doesn't.
can't ask where exactly.
Would you mind asking them what we had to,
I
have to
could-
do if we wanted to add another light? Or two down there, and you think it's
so-
one more light, you think?
Are we gonna make it a district? Cause you gotta make it a
Should.
special district,
So you have to make
but
it-
what you have to do is do a vote, the people have to petition the board. You have to do a vote, and they have to pay for it. Right now, it's just one light,
Yeah,
everybody in that district should be paying for that one light.
but instead everybody in the town pays for it.
Right, because it's, well, back then it was like $25.
I use
a
it
month.
though, we
wasn't
use it
much,
when we go through there.
But,
Yeah, so we have two lighting districts, SL1, SL2, and SL2 is Martville. Right, am I getting, and
There's
SL1
only
would
what,
be
two or three
Sterling
lights in
Valley and
Martville,
Sterling Center, correct?
oh, there's more lights in Martville. There's more than 3 lights in Martville, isn't there, Kurt?
I'm usually not down there in the dirt.
Sounds like it's worth exploring, and you know who looked into this, Naughty, the Nasties, back in the 1990s, I
I
remember
remember
her
this too.
researching it.
For the valley,
The lighting
The
districts.
lighting district.
She wanted to
period.
know what are these and why
Why
are
are
we
they-
paying for them the way we are and who's
Where would
responsible?
it be in Mark? I don't understand.
Hmm.
Where would the lighting district be?
there's one on the corner, Finch's Corners and 104. There's
Okay.
one up, I think across from the post office.
Yep,
Wouldn't that be in
And
the
then I
state?
think, isn't there one, well, there's one on Martin Crockett Road too, isn't there? I don't know, maybe I'll go that way when I'm home. There's lights there, they're the LED lights, cause they got redone.
I guess they,
there's a light over here.
So meanwhile.
No, in Mark, the
Oh,
Mark.
the other way,
Yeah,
oh,
the other
that
way.
I couldn't tell you.
well, why don't you, in my opinion, see if you can get that one fixed and if it solves the problem.
Right.
it's an easy
Yeah.
fix.
Right,
Yeah,
Instead of
yeah, see
trying
what
to.
that does.
right, because I don't imagine our Genie wants us climbing up the pole to change a light bulb on it.
I think there's laws against that.
Right, so Lisa could pursue that. Meanwhile, my understanding, I was not at the planning board meeting the other night, so maybe Andy can correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the planning board minutes, it looks like Kathy Sharkey, who lives on Maroney Road, and apparently she was there about the subdivision, Andy Martin subdivision, but she expressed a concern about safety with, horse and buggies. And, I know the buggy didn't seem to have adequate light when I saw it at night. So I don't know how much authority we have over.
That's a highway department issue.
That's a lot. No, I think that's.
No, not, not Sterling Highway, but New York DOT. No, they have laws on,
They should be.
they have laws on
It's no
illumination.
different than a bicycle, they have to have lights on a bicycle.
Right,
I didn't mean, like, I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
so again, not to go too crazy with this, but it is something, I'd rather that we be as proactive as we can.
And especially Maroney Road is the worst place
Mm,
in the town
right.
by far to try to pull out out of 104A
Correct,
with that stone wall there.
correct,
Right.
That is a horrible place.
I can't believe the state allows that to stay like that,
No, I know.
because with a plow truck, you literally have to have that plow
Yeah,
to the yellow line
Yeah.
before you can see up the hill.
yeah. You pull up there with a car, you have, it's the same thing, but opposite. Because
But my suggestion would be fix that, or can you fix that light,
yeah, see what that.
brighten it up, and if that solves the problem, it's pretty easy to fix.
right,
Now, to put, like horse and buggy signs on 104A, that would be a state.
That's a state thing, good luck with that.
Who makes that? Do we make that? recommendation or?
You call Waterloo, and then they say they'll get in touch with their sign people in Syracuse. But they're short staffed and they'll get back to you at some point. I've been waiting 6, 7 months. I'm trying to get a, sign for the cemetery down here.
No.
To the driveway sign.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay. Anything else for the business? Get a motion to, well, gotta do. Yeah, I get a motion to go into executive session. Discuss legal, pending litigation with CNY scrap.
That was on that.
Karen,
I don't know, there was a
Beth,
kid out
Lee.
there.
Oh,
Yes.
Joe,
you
Yes.
probably know it
Yes.
very well, and say where the mud puddle was.
Thanks for finding it. in the county of Cuba, state of New York, and has its office for conducting business located at 1290 State Route 104A, Sterling, New York, 13156. And whereas since approximately May 25th, 2011, CNY Scrap has owned property known as 14725 State Route 104, Martville, New York, 13111. Hereafter, the property, and operating a scrap processing facility and junkyard on the property. And whereas the property consists of 19.62 acres in total and contains 3 parcels identified by the tax identification numbers 19.1 or 19-1-33, 19-1-35.111, and 19-35.112. And whereas on or about February 24th, 2015, CNY Scrap commenced a lawsuit against the town in Cuba County Supreme Court, index number 2015-206, wherein it challenged the cease and desist order issued by town code enforcement officer with respect to scrap processing activities at the property, the litigation, and whereas on or about October 14th, 2020, the parties agreed to discontinue the litigation and execute a settlement agreement and release settlement agreement, a copy of which is attached here to as Exhibit A, wherein the parties agreed inter alia that CNY Scrap and Carrier would be permitted to use the property located at 14725 through 14735 State Route 104 as a junkyard, as that term is defined in the town's 2014 land use regulation as amended, and for those activities including in scrap processing activities described in the April 27th, 2020 letter from Peter Rolfe Esquire attached to the settlement agreement. In those areas of the property historically used for such activities, so long as they maintain compliance with the terms stated in the settlement agreement relative to hours of operation, scope of activities, maintenance of the property, etc. And whereas the parties wish to clarify the terms of the settlement agreement to reflect the intention of the parties when it was negotiated and executed, that its terms and conditions apply to all 3 parcels. Tax identification numbers 19-1-33, 19-1-35.111, and 19-35.112, and to remove any ambiguity regarding its interpretation. Now, therefore, the parties have reached the following understanding in the interest of further amplifying and clarifying the terms and scope of the aforementioned settlement agreement without adding or removing any of the terms or conditions stated in the settlement agreement, and without altering or amending any of the terms or conditions stated in the settlement agreement. The parties now state their agreement and affirmation that the settlement agreement and its various terms and conditions shall apply and do apply to the entire property consisting of the aforementioned 3 parcels identified by the following tax identification numbers 19-1-33, 19-1-35.111, and 19-35.112. More specifically, CNY and Carrier may continue to use a property consisting of the aforementioned 3 parcels, tax ID numbers 19-1-33, 19-1-35.111, and 19-35.112 in a manner consistent with its long historical use for the purpose of operating a scrap processing facility and junkyard subject to the provisions of the scrap processing law. New York General Business Law, Section 69, Junkyard Law, New York General Business Law, Section 136, and such other rules and regulations of the town of Sterling and or the state of New York that may apply. By a resolution dated 11/20. Copy which is attached here to it, incorporated by reference, the Sterling Town Board agreed to execute this memorandum of understanding and authorizes the town supervisor to execute same on behalf of the town. Well, could I get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign said document?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Karen,
Yeah.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Okay, can I get a motion to pay the audited vouchers?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Karen,
Yeah.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Can I get a motion pursuant to town law section 123? That the records of the supervisor from January to June 2023, having been duly examined and found all the fees have been turned over to the proper officials.
I'll make that.
I'll second that.
Karen,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Hey. Quiet, please. Karen. Quiet, please. Town Board of the Town of Sterling hereby establishes the following as standard workday for elected and appointed officials for the purpose of determining days' work reportable to the New York State and local employees retirement system based on the record of activities maintained and submitted by these officials to the clerk of this body. Assessor, 6 hours. Rebecca Hendricks, 1/1/23 to 12/31/23, 1988. Bookkeeper, 6 hours, Patricia Crane, 1/1/23 to 12/31/23, 2.93.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Karen,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. This board schedule a year-end meeting on December 28th, 2023 at 7 PM and authorize the town clerk to advertise for such.
I'll make that one.
I'll second that.
Karen,
Yes.
Lee,
Yeah.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Can I get a resolution that this board schedule an organizational meeting on January 2nd, 2024 at 7 PM and authorize the town clerk to advertise for such.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Karen,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Can I get a motion to appoint Alexander Charleston Holtz as Board of Assessment Review Member?
Is it renew?
Renew,
A renew,
renew,
yeah,
re-up.
renew.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Karen,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. And move up next to me, on my whole life, I should have found out I was going to Alexander. Can I get a motion to appoint Jeff Sawyer as planning board member effective immediately?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Karen,
Yeah.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Can I get a motion to appoint Kent Engelman as a planning board member effective January 1, 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Who's second?
Joan.
Karen,
Yeah.
Lee,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joan.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Thanks. Anybody like privilege of the floor?
Wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, Frank. Yeah.
Dan Larson, Main Street, Sterling. A couple of questions on the budget. We've got, $10,000 towards the research and development. And wondering what kind of research we're doing and whether it's being published anywhere. And 32,000 2022.
There would be currently nothing that's under research. If it's just put in there as a what if placeholder. Just going on.
I know in my mind, just
Things we
because
would
Goodbye.
I was gonna say, with my biases, I know we talk about water district, a future water district formation. And to me, that would be an appropriate use to look for grants to help us with the direction that the
Yeah, so
town
that's,
has to
yeah,
go.
it's just like Charlie said, kind of a placeholder. If we did wanna do something like that, the money would be there.
Also notice that under refuse and garbage, you've got well monitoring. Is there any reason why it's categorized as refuse and garbage?
What is it? Well, that's our old landfill that's outside of
Oh,
Crockett's there. They have test wells there and they come in every year and well, it's every year
Every year they.
they test
I
them.
think they changed that to 5 years.
Well, it's still every year.
No, they wouldn't let us.
What they do is just test them to see.
Never had a positive. result.
Yeah, and the DEC will,
Right,
they want it every year.
yeah.
Anybody else?
I'll stand up and ask
Okay.
some questions. It appears to me that you just rezoned. Rezoned some parcels again by legal agreement.
No, we didn't. All we did was clarify the understanding on what parcels.
How does this relate to what the ZBA decision was that was thrown out, due to lack of standing?
It has nothing to do with,
Nothing to do with that. So these aren't the same parcels at all?
it's the same parcels, but all this does is clarifies.
All it does is clarify that you rezoned them by a legal agreement.
They weren't,
Bypassing
they were not
regular-
rezoned.
The regular process of granting a junkyard or it's really a scrapyard, it's not a junkyard. Kind of bypass that process. There is a process for the time
Nothing-
whether somebody has a permit that goes through the planning board. And, it just seems to me that you're.
The permit's issued by the code enforcement officer. If you're gonna stand up and argue things, get your facts straight. Nothing was rezoned.
Well, I tried to get my
There's-
facts straight, but when I tried to find out what you came out of executive session in August. And had agreed to tell Calvin Cots to do related to Central New York scrap. I was told that you have no documentation of that and there's no record. So I've been curious since August when you went into executive session and you authorized Kevin Cox to sign an agreement, what that might be. Now you came out of another executive session and you read it. And so I try real hard to get my facts straight, but this is my impression from what you just read. So I'll come back next month after I have a chance to get the document that you just approved.
I would like to know
And
what,
understand
I would like to
better.
know where you found out what we talked about in executive session in August.
Well, you see by law, when you go into executive session, sometimes you do it, but sometimes you don't. But you observed it in August. You said, and now we will go into executive session to discuss pending legislation with Central New York scrap. And then you came out of that session and you said, we authorized Kevin Cox to sign an agreement regarding Central New York scrap. And I have repeatedly foiled for that document and been told, you don't have any documents that relate to that. And so tonight, I'm like, oh, they're going in on Central New York scrap again. And I came out and you came out, you read that, and it sounds like you are going back to the same thing that was before the ZBA, that they agreed wasn't a proper process. But you're right, I don't have all the facts because I don't have the document, but I'll get the document that you unanimously just decided that was good. And I will read it and I will look at it. And I'll come back next month better prepared.
Well, nothing was, we didn't authorize Kevin Cox to sign anything in
Well,
August.
that was exactly what you did in August. It's in the
No,
minutes.
we authorized him to draft,
A settlement agreement.
to draft
The
this.
draft of settlement
Not
agreement,
signing
okay, I'm
anything.
sorry, but to me it sounded like drafting a settlement agreement might be. And I have asked for that over and over and not been able to see it, so I do try real hard. to
It's
get
a,
my facts
that's,
straight.
that's attorney-client privilege and that
I
was
will
sent to
try
us.
to get my facts straight by getting my hands on the document that you unanimously just agreed to. And then we'll talk about it some more.
Okay. Anybody else?
Time to adjourn.
Hmm?
Time to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
All in favor?
I, yep, okay, we're not, they've got to sign.
And then if I have any questions, I don't say it.
Did you send it out? Yes.
Don't bet we said hello, thank her
That's what everybody.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, she done. We just.
Yes. Yeah, because I have it. Unless Kevin told me. Yes. Yes.
You want to send that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's try to.
Yeah, you know.